Alright guys, Papa Pepper here with more of 50 Days to Understanding the End Times More Accurately. Today we're doing day 29, and this is going to be the Dark Sun and Blood Moon Part 2. When we evaluate the 5 passages that mention the events that could be this darkening of the sun and blooding of the moon in the New Testament, we have a few options. Though views vary about the passages mentioned yesterday as to the exact number of different events they speak of, I believe that there are only 2. I believe that 3 excerpts from the Gospels and the Revelation 6 passage are all the same event. Shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light? Matthew 24:29. The sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. Mark 13:24. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon. Luke 21:25. The sun shall become black as a sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Revelation 6:12. Many pre-tribulationalist Bible scholars also believe that these all speak of the same exact event. The Revelation 8 passage, which is potentially different, I believe appears to be another event occurring later. The third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon. Revelation 8:12. Since both the Matthew and Mark accounts show this sign as happening just after the abomination of desolation, it is fully possible that the day of the Lord has not yet begun at that point. When ye shall therefore see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth let him understand. Matthew 24:15. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Matthew chapter 24 verse 29. So in Matthew 24:15 we have the abomination of desolation, and in Matthew 24:29 we have the sun darkened and the moon not giving light, 14 verses later. But when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. Mark chapter 13 verse 14. But in those days after that tribulation the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. Mark chapter 13 verse 24. So in Mark 13:24 you have the abomination of desolation. In Mark 13:24 you have the sun darkened and the moon not giving her light. So abomination of desolation 13:14, 13:24 sun darkened, moon not giving light, 10 verses later. Since the day of the Lord cannot start until after a sign in the sun and the moon, and since the abomination cannot occur during the day of the Lord, the timing in Matthew 24 and Mark 13 makes sense. Isaiah chapter 2 verses 11 to 17 and 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verses 1 to 4 also agree with this timing. Point: it is possible that the dark sun and moon event in the Olivet Discourse is the pre-Day of the Lord event prophesied by Joel. I'll wrap up a little more on this subject tomorrow. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Papa out.